brand new episode of The Witching Hour. I am Perri Nemroff, and I'm sitting across from Haleigh Fouch in the best t-shirt ever. I love that shirt.
Cats and horror.
Was that a Mondo shirt?
It was.
Because I think I tried to buy one and they were sold out or something like that.
I obviously had to buy both color and black and white.
I knew there was a variant on
Yes.
that.
I mean, there are lots of good Jonesy shirts out there.
I know. Not that I need any more t-shirts or sweatshirts for that matter.
Nobody does. Mondo doesn't stay in business because we need those things.
You would not believe my dressers right now, though. It's like at the point, like everything is neat and organized, but it's at the point where the stacks on top of the dressers are getting so high that they're toppling over, and that's when it becomes problematic.
Need to Marie Kondo it. Go in, get rid of anything that doesn't spark joy.
You know what happens when a t-shirt of mine winds up going in the do not wear pile? It becomes a Dewey cat carrier liner. So it's like he, in his plastic carrier, he just lays on a bed of movie t-shirts.
He's so fancy.
He is fancy. He's the best. I love that face so much. All right. So what's on the lineup today? We don't really know.
What is on the lineup?
We're kind of like, we've got like a little weird mixture. It's like a buffet of horror randomness today.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a little reviewing for you. We've got some news to cover. We're gonna talk about romancy horror movies for Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way,
Happy
guys.
Valentine's Day.
I hope you are spending it with your significant other or your loved ones in your life. It doesn't matter. Just spread love on Valentine's Day.
Or just make sure you love yourself. You can take that however you want to.
I like that.
That's
I like that. So let's get into it. What do we want to start with? Surprise me. Pick something.
Surprise you.
Yeah.
Keep
Keep me on my toes.
Definitely not the romance movies, because I need to think about that. Why don't you got to do something cool, and I know you're still under like an embargo on
I
that.
see where you're going with this.
Yeah, but that's probably the big horror news of the week. So tell us about The Hunt.
The Hunt.
Well, what you can.
Yeah, so when I first heard about that event, I was very caught off guard. And, after all of the talk about The Hunt and the controversy that happened back in the fall, I was surprised how just off my radar it was. I think I had become just like resigned to the fact that your face is making me nervous right now.
Camera over here now.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I'll drink from this side now. We have a new camera set up, and I just learned about it.
For anybody who is watching this in video form, they had
not to gesture too heavily.
They had the pleasure of witnessing that.
Yeah.
So The Hunt, I was surprised that, like, I think I had almost just given in to the fact that we were never going to see it or never going to see it on the big screen. So when I was told that I was invited to a screening of the movie with a post-screening Q&A with Jason Blum, and you look so freaked out by these cameras.
I'm fine. Everything's fine. I'm a professional.
So Jason Blum, David Lindelof did the post-screening Q&A. When I first heard about it, I'm like, whoa, I can't believe this is happening. And when I first heard about it, they didn't tell me what the new release date was. While we were there, we found out it was March 13th. So it's coming up very, very quickly. And we got to see the movie. I'm not allowed to review the movie, but we saw the movie in an effort to help them reshape the marketing campaign in a way that more clearly conveys what the movie's about and what type of movie it is. So now that I've actually seen the movie and we've experienced the controversy together, I can understand a little more why what happened. Because I went back and I think they officially took that original trailer down, but it's still circulating out there.
The
And
internet,
I went back and I rewatched it, and that's a fairly dark, violent trailer, and the movie is not that. The movie is highly satirical, very, very heightened, and while I do think that no matter what, they should have pushed pause on the marketing campaign at that point in time, the whole removal of the movie from the release calendar might not have happened if the trailer was as playful as the final movie is. I think it gave off a very different impression, and I don't even necessarily think this latest trailer that we got this past week reflects how satirical the movie is.
Interesting.
I think it taps into it more for sure, but I think it's even more heightened than that. But basically, where this all left me was I'm curious to see what the conversation is about this. Because another thing that I think a lot of folks were confused about is, you know, who's hunting who in the movie. And, you know, like, yes, it's the liberals are the hunters in the movie, but what the movie does is it presents both sides as being extreme, and as extreme attitudes like that not being the best course of action. No one's at fault. The movie's not pointing a finger at one specific group. The movie is pointing a finger at everyone and saying, if you are so extreme in your beliefs that you will turn to violence and lashing out at others rather than sitting and listening to them, that's ridiculous, and we shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
That is basically what The Hunt is about.
I would say, to me, that came through since the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, I don't... But that's just having good faith conversation about it. Like, I don't... Maybe, but it's hard for me to believe that realistically you're going to watch a trailer and think that, like, the film is like, yes, we should kill our political opponents, and that's the justified thing to do.
Yeah.
Because that's not how these movies work. Nobody watches The Purge and is like, those masked people really know how to run a society.
Well, I don't know if I would go that far, but I think the sensitivity came from the fact that when I watched the trailer for The Hunt, I saw it as being The Purge adjacent. And I know The Purge has had, tonal differences from film to film. But when that first movie came out, that was a straightforward horror home invasion movie. It was very dark and very violent. And I kind of applied that same filter based on that trailer to The Hunt, in which case I could see a lot more sensitivity to the subject given the current events that had just happened. Mm-hmm. But if it was more playful and more satirical at the time and was played off as a horror comedy, which it is, I just think the course of the conversation would have been different.
I could see that. It's interesting. I'll be curious. I will be curious to see how many people remember to be mad. Because the attention span is so short, right?
Yeah. I also think if this movie makes one person mad, it's going to make everybody mad. Everyone has a reason to be mad about maybe how one of their beliefs is presented in this movie.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm very curious. I have not seen it. I am so excited that it's coming out, though, because we had very strong reactions to the idea of a film being pulled under those circumstances, especially when president gets involved in the conversation.
I think that was probably one of the biggest issues with how all that was handled.
Yeah. So I'm glad that it is coming out. And that we didn't have to, I didn't think it would be gone forever. I just wasn't sure if they would wait a significant amount of time.
One, I thought they were going to wait a significant amount of time. And two, I also thought there was a chance that it could go straight to streaming.
Oh, that I could see. I just didn't think it was going to be like perma-shelved and no one would ever see it. I mean, even, what was that David O. Russell movie that like just went tits up, and it wasn't it originally called Nailed, and then it got re-released with like a real rom-com-y title?
I don't know.
Jessica Biel, I think.
Oh, Accidental Love?
Yeah.
All right. Wow. Yeah, I mean, and this just fell right off my radar.
Sat on the shelf for years.
Yeah.
But it did eventually come out with a very, like, shiny rebranding that nobody cared about.
Okay.
Accidental Love.
Not thought about that in a minute.
Funny.
But yeah, that's it. That's where I have to like push pause on The Hunt because I can't really tell you guys all that much about the specifics of the movie. But I wrote like an extensive piece on Collider.com. So if you want the full breakdown and all the quotes from Lindelof and also Blum, and they're very interesting. I really, not just because I wrote the piece, but the whole conversation is just well worth, digging into. Check it out on Collider.com.
Yeah, I found it a really interesting read, and especially it's true.
I worked really hard on that.
I could tell it was really nicely done. And oh my God, I would imagine you would with a film with that spotlight on it being reintroduced.
Yeah.
Coming off of Watchmen, which I will force you at gunpoint, not at gunpoint, at cat point to watch one day.
Yeah, no, that's really on the top of my list.
Yes.
Wait, finish your thought before I tell you what I watched before I watched that.
Yeah, it's going to make me angry.
No.
Anything you watch before, that's going to make me angry at this point. But we're all free people with free will. Or do we have free will? It's been on my mind a lot, but this isn't the podcast. Point being, that was such a political heavy show. And it's, Lindelof definitely right now on the heels of Watchmen, probably his name carries some political weight to it. So I'm curious if that will maybe influence how people go into the movie, because the Hunt debacle happened before Watchmen came out and before that sort of connotation might have been attached to his name. So I'm curious, and maybe people won't care at all because, again, the attention span is just so short.
Yeah, isn't it incredible? It's just from one thing on to the next. Yeah. So not horror related.
Yes.
But I've been watching two things in advance of digging into Watchmen finally. Also, part of my problem with binging Watchmen is the fact that I can't download it. I have an HBO subscription. Yeah. If I were able to download it and take it with me on flights, I guarantee you I would be watching it a lot quicker. And that's part of the reason why the two shows I'm about to mention are the ones that became the priority, because I've had a lot of flights recently. First, have you watched Cheer?
No, I have not.
Totally not. I'm not into cheerleading. That show was damn addicting.
Okay.
And I love those kids, and I am just so wildly impressed by the athleticism and what they put on the line in order to nail their routine. It's so good. It's good. It's very good, and it's a very well shot docuseries.
Okay, cool.
Highly recommend watching it. And also, because some Sabrina coverage is on the horizon, I've been blowing through the new season.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
I did.
I think I just finished the Carnival episode.
I'm trying to. Well, so much of it takes place at that darn carnival.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm in my first episode at the carnival.
Okay.
Then.
What's that's midway through or something? Almost midway.
3 or 4?
I can't even remember how many.
I don't know.
Is it 8? Is it 10?
I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. I'm having a little bit of a tough time readjusting to it again. Mm-hmm. It just feels like there's so much going on.
So much.
And it feels very different from the previous 2 seasons. Yeah. And I don't know, like Sabrina, and all of her stuff in Hell feels almost too big for what they started.
It is such a weird season. And I ultimately came down thinking it was probably the most entertaining season yet.
Ooh, okay.
But part of it is that it's just so jam-packed with stuff. Mm-hmm. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
And it ultimately, I don't know that it makes it the strongest season, but it does make it just oh, well, that's fun, and that's fun, too, and I guess that's pretty fun.
As long as it's entertaining. Yeah. It's right now I'm having a tough time because, my attention is going in so many different directions, but as long as those all, come to a satisfying end at a point.
I had fun, is what I'll say. I somehow wrote a 2,000-word review about it, but I think it was just because there were so many things I wanted to quickly address in the review.
Okay.
I had a lot of fun with this season. It is, to me, the most entertaining season. I don't know if it's the strongest or most cohesive. It certainly, I think, is the best looking. All of those weird visual hallmarks that we complained about in those first run of episodes with the weird blurring of the camera and the shoddy makeup looks. Everything just now looks up to its budget.
It does. And they even use the blur technique a couple of times, but they use it with purpose now.
Yeah.
So I was pleasantly surprised to see that. You know who's quickly becoming just my absolute favorite all around? Freaking Miranda Otto.
She's so good.
I always thought, obviously she's got a laundry list of titles on her resume, so she's always been great. But between Sabrina and I know her performance in Downhill goes one way or the other for most people based on the reviews I read out of Sundance, but I, for one, got a freaking kick out of her. I think she is just such a delight.
I think she's wonderful. And if you or anyone listening has not seen the video of the cast dancing on set, you must watch.
Excuse me?
I'll
like
show
the
you,
Sabrina cast?
Yeah, I'll show you after we
Okay.
wrap. But the way Miranda Otto walks down the stairs into the frame is an extreme life goal.
Okay.
I just want to be
Please
on that
don't
level.
forget to show
I'll
me
put it
that
in my notebook
immediately after we wrap
now.
this episode.
Show Perri dance video. I'm going to be like, what dance video? Yeah, it's really fun. I really do enjoy the aesthetics of this season a lot, not to harp on that, but I also think that the costumes are better than they've ever been, and the show has already had pretty cool costumes.
Yeah.
But I just feel like this season, again, everything's leveling up to sort of the budget that it has and looking really stellar.
Your nails look nice.
Thank you. I got
Sorry,
them
that's
done
how
on
my brain's
trip.
working today.
They're my Barbie dream.
I really like them.
Thank you. I'm going to say this all without spoilers, but this season more than ever made me realize I fundamentally don't understand the morality of the show. I never have any guidance in what's supposed to be a good or bad thing or why any character is good or bad because they all do such heinous, wild, ridiculous things. Like Miranda Otto's character has done horrifying things.
She killed Hilda in season 1.
A lot. Like, because she was annoying her. Yeah, so that is very confusing. And my goodness, Sabrina is the worst leadership character. Yeah. She is, if there is a terrible decision to make,
she'll make it.
She'll make it. And
I'm only a couple episodes in, and I already see that more than ever, and she's made a whole bunch of shitty decisions in the last 2 seasons.
I'm constantly like, no, you're not gonna. You are gonna, because you're Sabrina.
She's great in the role, though. It's more about how the character is written.
I feel that she's grown into the role. I wasn't super in love with her portrayal in the last.
Okay.
Well, the first 2 seasons shot back to back, so I think a lot of the difference.
The same problems that you would have had in season 1, you would have had them in season 2
and
as
that's why this season feels so different.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, man, that character is a freaking trip.
Yeah.
I genuinely, and because all the morality is always so confusing, I'm like, is she, what is this show?
I was so prepared for it because like super big, terrible decision number 1 happens right at the beginning of the show. It's like, seriously? Have you not watched anything where it's like, do you sacrifice one for men? Like,
yeah, no, she does.
What's wrong with you?
She's not here to discuss
No.
ethics.
And it's like, all right, wait. Can I just say one brief spoiler for, I believe it's I think it's episode 2.
I think that's fine. It's been out for a while.
All right.
That's
very, very minor spoilers. But when she creates the circle of salt and then freaking steps in it.
Are you kidding me?
What? That's stupid.
She is often quite
That's just stupid.
Wait, just wait. There is some shit in the finale that I legitimately was if there's one rule that all of fiction narrative has taught us, you never break that rule.
Okay.
You better believe she does it 60 miles an hour, pedal to the metal, never once thinks about it.
Okay. How many episodes are there total?
That's what I was just saying.
Is it 10?
Let's look that up because it could be 8, it could be 10. We watch a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we do. I hope it would be nice if it's 8.
I watched 5
just
episodes
so I can get
of something
to watch
yesterday.
them a little sooner. What'd you watch?
The new queer documentary, Visible, out on television that's coming to Apple TV+.
Okay.
It was very good.
I still haven't even watched The Outsider, and I was so excited about that.
I know, and you've read it. You really
care. I was like really prepared for that.
That's one I think I'm probably going to end up binge watching ahead of the finale to keep up to.
Maybe I'll do the same thing.
Because I don't want to fall too behind on that conversation in terms of what if the finale's epic and life changing?
That has to be coming up soon.
Yeah, I'd probably say that, and it's tomorrow.
It could be.
All right, why is it so hard for me to do anything? Okay, it was 8 episodes.
8 episodes.
So you're almost
all right.
through.
I'm getting there. So you weren't wrong when you told me I was halfway.
Yeah.
And for the record, no, you got a little bit of time. Looks like the last episode of The Outsider airs on March 8th.
Okay, that is a relief.
Right, so
I'll take that.
I'll try to catch up as well. All right. You want to move on to the next topic? You want to pick the next topic?
No, I picked the first one.
All right. I'll just get this out of the way. So, Fantasy Island.
I
have seen it. I am going to give you a review of the movie right now.
Do.
Just in case any of you do not know the source material for this movie, it's based on a show, what was it, late 60s and early 70s?
I would believe you, but I cannot confirm.
Late 70s, early 80s. Okay. I'm dating it too much. But it's basically a movie about what happens if you go to an island where your fantasy can come true. And I think it was actually a very interesting and smart choice for them to take something that we're so far removed from, like Fantasy Island, apply a horror concept to it to make it a little more interesting and different, and also the fact that, you know, if you go off of the last Blumhouse Jeff Wadlow movie, Truth or Dare, the target audience for that movie is so detached from Fantasy Island that, I mean, this was the perfect way to spin that old popular concept for them to get that audience to come out and see this movie. And then they assemble a great ensemble: Michael Pena, Lucy Hale, Maggie Q. And Maggie Q is exceptional in this movie, even though, hey, I didn't really like it.
Oh, womp. You and I were so excited for it.
I was so excited. And I still think that there are, you know, there are some bold choices that I can applaud just for, you know, risk-taking and trying to use your horror vehicle to tackle more like deeper issues. Like, it tries to get at that, but what winds up happening with this movie is, so the main cast is Lucy Hale, Ryan Hansen, and Jimmy O. Yang, and they're grouped into one. And then you also have Maggie Q, and you have Austin Stoll. And there are 4 fantasies in play at one time, which makes sense. You know, they all go as a group to the island. They all have their own little fantasy. Then it just gets like fantasy on top of fantasy. Like, the island is supernatural. What's going on? Like, you don't know. And that's part of the fun of the movie, or what was intended to be the fun of the movie, trying to figure out what's really going on here. But it winds up, like, stepping all over itself, not making much sense. I think the most successful story in the entire thing is actually the least horror type, which is Maggie Q's bit. It's almost like a drama, and she's very good in it. And it's one of those situations that makes you think, well, what would I do in that situation? Because she's so convincing. And, you know, I don't think most of a couple of the performances are not really working for me, but most of them are very good. It's just, I think they bit off more than they could chew by having so many fantasies, so many overlapping fantasies. Each fantasy taps into a different genre, even though horror is at its core. It's just a mess. It's a mess. And it's not fun to watch either. Which is part of the problem.
This is what made me the most sad, and what I thought was like the immediate biggest condemnation is right before we started, I didn't ask you, was it good? I asked you one question, was it fun? And you said no. And that's just like, that's what that movie is selling, is fun.
Yeah. I talked to Jeff Wadlow about this in our interview, and you know, like, I disagree with his feeling on it, which there's nothing wrong with that, you know. Yeah. Like, he tried to do one thing and it didn't really work for me. But I asked him if they had ever considered starting the movie not on the island and with the characters beforehand. Like, them in their normal lives when they first found out they were going to the island. Because I always think that whether we're talking about a horror situation like this or like a disaster movie, one of the most, like, entertaining portions of that is the build. Like, even Cabin in the Woods, the build to going to the cabin and being like, oh my God, look at this high concept playing out. This movie doesn't have that. It begins right on the island. So, and I think with a movie that is so heavily woven into a character, a person's deepest desire, it doesn't work as well if you don't have that foundation built with the characters beforehand.
Right, if you don't know the person.
He was very much into the idea of sticking with the format of the original show and having it begin with them arriving on the island via the plane. I think that hurt the movie a bit.
I, having not seen it, think that criticism makes a lot of sense. I'm just pretty bummed. But,
yeah, I understand that.
You know, they can't all be winners.
But it's also just unfortunate that we've had so many not winners.
I was that's kind of where the bummed came from.
Yeah.
I do feel a little bit like we were in one of the greatest golden ages of horror, and maybe it's winding down a little bit, which is fine because there's always an upswing to a downswing.
I think we're in a bad patch.
That could be fair. Just looking at sort of like cycle trends in the industry, I wouldn't be surprised if like the next 3 years are not as good as the last 3 years were, or
even
3 years before.
Even just narrowing the focus to 2020, though, looking at it, it's like, I mean, you know how I feel about The Lodge. I love that. Looking ahead, very soon we have Invisible Man. I mean, we also have The Boy too. So I guess that's continuing. I mean, I shouldn't judge it without seeing it, but I just don't have a lot of faith in that movie. Right around the corner is another A Quiet Place movie. The Hunt is coming up. There are things with a lot of potential. It's just very unfortunate that we've kicked off the year with misfire after misfire. And it just so happens that those misfires are all the wide release studio movies.
Yeah.
Many of which have been attached to very familiar brands also, which puts them in the spotlight even more so.
I didn't think that was going to be so loud.
That was, I wonder if the mic picked that up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's not, but it's only February 13th. That's fine.
Yeah.
But, also last year I thought things were pretty good, but I didn't think that last year was on par with the last couple years we had before that in terms of consistency of quality.
How much did you love, by the way, the Midsummer Love at the Oscars? Did you watch the Janelle Monáe beginning?
I didn't watch the
Oscars. You should watch it just because that movie is involved.
I will, and I've been meaning to catch up. Like, I watched a few things, but I was on vacation in New Orleans, and me and my friends had planned to watch it, but for some reason, when we went to watch the live stream on ABC, no shit, the little thing was like, ABC Live is not available in New Orleans.
That's random. I can't imagine
why. It was
why.
so random and so frustrating. But yeah, I watched a few of the speeches, and I will definitely watch that because I love Janelle Monáe.
Yeah, that opening was one of my favorite Oscar performances in a very long. I was very impressed by that.
People seem to enjoy the show this year.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I had a good time, and we did our ArcLight thing, and we had a blast, and there was like a crowd there with us, and we did our little commentating during the commercial breaks, and the crowd got involved. It was great. It was cool. Cool.
I kept up on Twitter because it turns out we're like definitely on the older side now, because when we're in New Orleans, and we definitely had a couple nights out where we partied, but we also had more nights out or more nights in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that night, because we couldn't get the Oscars to work, my friend Lena and I showed our other friend Stephanie Euphoria because she had not seen it yet.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm very into Euphoria. If you're into Euphoria, I might have a Euphoria exclusive. It's a little something from my interview with Storm Reed for Invisible Man. That was a fun junket. You can actually watch my Elizabeth Moss interview right now.
Yeah, you can.
Right now, if you want to, on Collider.com. Next up, your turn. You pick.
My turn.
You pick.
Do we have that many to pick from? Isn't it just kind of a lead into The Invisible Man, which you just said, but you kind of already did tease your coverage.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. Yeah, I did that already, but well, also because of the title that I just highlighted.
Oh, right. I looked right over.
I don't think I'm allowed to say what I thought about Invisible Man. People have already put social media reactions up, but I actually haven't yet for no particular reason. But if I were to craft a tweet on the spot right now, it would be something to the effect of, I really liked the movie. I really liked the first 2/3 of the movie. Take out the word like. I loved. Like, hear the emphasis on the word loved the first 2/3 of the movie. Doesn't quite stick the landing.
All right.
But I really liked it overall still.
Nice.
Highly recommend it.
I'm not going to ask you any questions because you're under embargo, but
if you ask me any questions about the content in my interview, I can answer those.
I haven't seen your interview, so that would be a real shotgun type.
The one up and running right now with Elizabeth Moss. She talks a lot about using the motion control camera. Like you remember in Upgrade, how sometimes the camera will move with the body of the character. They did a lot of that work in Invisible Man, and like she even calls herself, I think she called herself like a cinematography nerd or something. So she goes in depth on that, and that visual trick is used to great effect. Excellent. In The Invisible Man.
That's cool, because that's something that you and I had both sort of singled out on from the trailers. It's like, ooh, it looks like that visual spirit's still alive.
The style from Upgrade to this translates very well.
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited for that one. And I feel you could probably answer, because it would fit in a tweet. Elizabeth Moss, everything we're expecting from carrying this film?
Oh, my God.
I already knew the answer.
This is coming across like I just discovered that Elizabeth Moss is excellent, but I think the fact that I saw Shirley at Sundance and then saw this right after, she is one of the best out there. She is on like the tippy top tier, and you could give her anything and she will make the most of it.
She really is, I feel like, an actor you can guaranteed count on to carry a film.
Guarantee. Because also writing up that interview intro, like I was looking through her resume, like she produces like an insane amount of content every year.
Cool. I didn't know that.
It's what I mean. Just okay. And I'm not saying every movie overall that she's in is great, because you know how I feel about The Kitchen. That does not
right.
Her performance in it though is exactly what she had to do. But if you look at just 2018 till now. A movie called The Seagull, which I haven't seen. She was in The Old Man and the Gun, Her Smell, The Pack, Light of My Life, Us, The Kitchen, Shirley, Handmaid's Tale, Invisible Man, French Dispatch, and Next Goal Wins. She does not stop working, and I hope she's taking care of herself, but thank you for not stopping your work, because the more movies you're in, the better those movies will be.
Know, but I'm like, you name those, and all of a sudden I'm like, I'm worried about you, Elizabeth. Because when you think about the emotional, I mean, like singling out a couple, the emotional demands of Her Smell, The Handmaid's Tale, and The Invisible Man, all back to back to back, like do something light.
She talked about that a little in Invisible Man, just the exhaustion that comes with being like so wound up in a horror movie like that.
Really, and she's like, Her Smell can't have been an easy one.
I will say that speaking to her after all of that, like she seemed like freaking thrilled. She seemed, can I tell you another thing about that junket? Yes. I hope I can release this video soon. I have to get my hands on it. I know they're going to do like a compilation piece. So I applaud Universal all day long for stuff like this. I thought it was so clever. Because you saw my email where I emailed the entire Collider.com team about who I was interviewing. Yes. You saw that the stunt coordinator was on that list. So, stunt coordinator room, they call me over to it, and the high priority room was Elizabeth Moss. The stunt coordinator room was just not as busy. So while you have downtime in those rooms that have long lines for them, they bring you over to the stunt coordinator room. I go into the room, and someone welcomes me in as usual, like, what's your name and outlet? I sit down in the seat, and the woman goes to me, the coordinator's just in the bathroom. He'll be right out. I'm going to go get you a glass of water. I'm like, oh, I got a glass of water. Like, that's kind of nice. So she leaves the room, and I'm sitting in this room by myself, which very rarely happens. Usually, even if the talent isn't ready for their interview, you're sitting in there with like a camera op, someone managing sound, all this other shit. So I'm sitting in there, and then all of a sudden a box falls off the wall. Ooh. And I'm like, whoa, that's weird. And then a pen rolls off the chair. And I'm like, for a minute, I'm like, maybe the box fell so hard that the pen then fell off after. And then I kind of ruined the illusion because there was a mirror in the room. And I just so happened to turn my head, and I see a hand reach over the curtain behind me with a little thing to touch my shoulder. But it was very well done. I am all for playful opportunities like that. I thought it was so clever.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
I've liked the marketing campaign. Some of the signs around LA he's sitting right next to you. They did
that in the screening too. I think it said something like, "Is he sitting there? Is that seat next to you really empty?"
It's clever.
It's
effective.
It's a simple thing, but it makes you think.
Exactly, simple but effective.
Yeah, I'm very into a lot of the work that they've been doing on that movie.
Really good for my paranoia.
Oh God. Well. Wait until you. All right. Wait until you see the movie.
Just wait.
But I found it to be a stressful movie.
I'm sure that I will. You know, if you decide to see it again and we see it together, I wouldn't be surprised if it's very similar to when we saw
Unsane,
and I'll be
I think you might be.
Yeah.
I actually have a really good transition into our next topic.
Do it.
So while I was at the Invisible Man junket, I asked Lee Winnell about his involvement in Spiral, a video that you will be able to watch on Collider.com very soon, if not right now. And he did talk about it a little bit, and he's not involved. But that leads us into a hot topic today, which is the very first trailer for Spiral.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I like it.
Yeah?
Yep.
I like it. I don't love it.
Looks like a Saw movie.
Does it?
Yeah, to me, 100%. It looks like okay, let me rephrase. It looks like Saw.
Ish.
You
mean like visually?
Yeah, it looks like two detectives on the beat who, get into the worst case of their life, and things are dark and grimy, and
it looks like a Saw. It looks like a Saw movie to me from the more obvious connections to the franchise, like the damn Spiral, and the score is obviously very familiar, and then most of all at the very end with Chris Rock,
oh sure, yeah.
And like getting ready to saw off his arm or whatever. But I don't know. I think it was because I was really excited about it. Like something about my appreciation for that franchise and what this trailer was didn't quite click, but I think it might be because this plays more like a teaser trailer than a trailer that really gets into the story. Like we did get the surface level, like, cops on the beat and then they find whatever's going on and it happens to be a Jigsaw type situation, but I don't know. Maybe it would be different if I saw it on the big screen, but I've watched the trailer a couple of times now, and I'm not really feeling that hook just yet. Yeah,
that's fair.
But I don't not like it.
I guess if they're like, I like it. I'm good with it. I'm not over the moon about it. My only disappointment would be I was maybe hoping they'd push a little further, like away from what looks so classically Saw to me, because it is such an unexpected creative team that's putting it together. But again, it's Darren Lynn Bousman. Is that right? Bousman? Is that how you say it? I think it is. I should never ask you because you never know, and you should never ask me.
I never know, and I also think the last time I had this discussion with someone, whatever I said was wrong.
Okay, cool. But, he's got, like, firm roots in the franchise, so of course it would feel very much
exactly.
At home. I appreciate they didn't waste for a second the opportunity to get a Samuel L. Jackson motherfucker in there. They know that that's they got to play that.
You might as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I think what I would have preferred for a first trailer is like a balls to the walls, like Saw is back kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like really digging into it right off the bat with like a full story trailer or something. Or I would have appreciated even more of a teaser trailer that slowly built to the reveal of like, we are back in this world. And I think we've gotten into this awkward middle ground where I can't get either form of excitement.
I'm wondering, like we can't watch it right now, but I would be curious if Jigsaw's trailers had that sort of energy, like Saw's back, welcome back to the horror franchise of a decade type energy.
I don't think it had that. It's funny, I can remember very specific visuals from that, but I don't really remember.
I think it might, because I just like hovered over the trailer on Google and the first thing that came up was his voice.
Yeah. Here I'm like, well, I'm playing it on silent, so this video doesn't get taken down. But
right, that's very smart. I don't know. Like
this is the thing. This is the thing that I remember. Yeah, this leans a little more heavily into Saw. Yeah. I mean, it's actually a very clever first shot here of a woman running and then in the background revealing the body.
I guess the broader point I'm trying to wonder here is like if that marketing was what they tried with the last one
and it didn't work.
Clearly didn't work.
Well, also the movie wasn't that good. That's part of it.
No, but so many of the Saws aren't that good.
Well, they definitely went full Saw in this trailer because I'm also watching the bucket chain sequence right now. And it's like you got the tape. This is compared to this trailer, the Spiral trailer is Saw light.
Yeah, this is very Saw Haleigh. Words are not important.
I am enjoying that one, though.
I have very, very little brain cells left after New Orleans.
As you should.
I'll tell you something.
Well, they got the mask and everything.
Yeah, so maybe I kind of like that they're playing it a little more low key, and it seems that they're playing up more that this is Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson as opposed to playing up the Saw element of it, which might be smart.
It could be,
because clearly people didn't care enough about Saw to really turn up for Jigsaw. And I'm not saying that like Samuel L. Jackson can single-handedly drive traffic to any film, because he makes a lot.
Yeah.
But I do think that definitely the curiosity factor here is, what does a Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson Saw movie look like?
Yeah. No, I definitely think that. I do wonder if this trailer that I'm scrubbing through right now is the first full trailer, or if there was a teaser that came first.
There probably was a teaser, but this definitely is full on.
Yeah.
Like, Saw is back.
I'm surprised
there's puppet.
I'm surprised there was no teaser for Spiral, though. I mean, technically, actually, Lionsgate does call this a teaser trailer.
All right, yeah.
But you know what I mean. Like, I mean an even shorter and sweeter one that's like, ha-ha.
Title card.
Yeah, but it's not that. I'm still excited, though.
Yeah,
I'm still excited.
I'm intrigued.
That's the benefit of being a part of a franchise like this. It's like, no matter what, I'm always going to come back for like a Saw, Texas Chainsaw, Nightmare on Elm Street, like you name it. I'm always going to go back to those franchises.
I will say, having just sort of like silently scrubbed through that old trailer, I definitely am more excited about the vibe of this one, which feels way more directly tied to the original film than it did to, you know, all the traps being the main highlight.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm so mixed on that, though, because I always thought that the cop stuff never really worked. It didn't. It only worked in the first one. Yeah. Then it spiraled out of control.
Ooh.
See what I'm going to do there? I'm going to be. And, like, I won't even intentionally do that, but I will do that nonstop as we get closer, because I think I just use that phrase all the time.
Well, speaking of nonstop, I can't talk about Hamilton without saying nonstop, which is the name of it. So it happens. It happens.
I'm still bitter about Hamilton, because I tried so hard to get tickets when I was living in New York, and it was just too expensive, or I couldn't get them at all. So I won't let myself listen to Hamilton, even though. But now Disney just announced that theatrical version is coming out. So that I will do.
Except you're going to get apparently like a slightly edited version, because they won't use swear words. So yay for Disney. Yeah.
I don't like that.
I don't like it at all.
All right.
I don't like it at all. I'm like... Oh, you better have an unrated version on DVD at least.
What's like the, I mean, not the specific count, but how much will that change the content?
Not a ton. And he said nothing's going to be cut. They're just going to like mute it out probably. But like one of the best lines is like, Southern Democratic motherfucking Republicans.
All right,
and just like if you cut out in the middle of that beat.
Do me a favor. You, when I see that movie, you sit next to me, and every time they bleep it, you just go, fuck.
There we go.
You should just, that's what your job should be when that movie hits theaters, is you should just go from theater to theater and scream out all the bleeped out words.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, honestly, I think there's only like 2 or 3 F-bombs. It depends on how much they're gonna, because like, if they're gonna, you can't cut bastard, that word's used constant. It's like maybe the 3rd word in the show.
Yeah.
How does a bastard? You can't cut out the 3rd word in the show.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right.
I have feelings about this.
I'm gonna go see it though. I'm very excited to finally experience Hamilton and be part of that conversation. However many years later.
That's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. Whenever you take part, it really is the best. I listen to it every week, at least once. Yes.
Been listening to a lot of Sing Street again.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Sing Street. Listening to the Us soundtrack. Still.
Always.
Still.
Always.
Wild Rose, which I'm still bitter about not getting an original song nomination, but
that's pretty messed up.
In the past. In the past.
There's nothing we can do.
So what else? What
should we? I'll tell you, this is not, I'll tell you something that horrified me personally.
Oh, no.
And
is this like a real life thing or a movie thing?
No, this is a real life thing. It's not really scary. Well, I guess it depends on where you fall.
Yeah.
I need to know where you're at on this. Do you use Find My Friends?
I was going to say, is it about the broom standing up?
No.
Okay.
No.
No, but I have in the past.
Okay. I being with my friends, learned how extensively they use it and how many people they allow to location track them, and was horrified and didn't realize it had become such a commonplace.
Is it?
I guess, and where they live.
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
No.
Thank you.
I mean, it's not that I don't trust like you per se, but like nobody needs to know where I am, and two, I don't fully trust applications like that. Yeah. It's like, even if I had it and only invited you to track me, I still think that there's ways to get in for somebody else to do so. No. I mean, I guess just having a phone period also opens the door to that kind of scenario. But like, why would you welcome even more of that into your life?
Have your location on at all times.
Maybe something like, let's say on a trip like that, where, like, God forbid, friends could get separated.
We didn't use it, but that would have been a good time to do so.
That could be, like, a reasonable, or, I don't know, like, if you're going to a theme park with a group of people and, like, you're in a situation where you don't know if you're going to be able to reunite and find each other, maybe that's a useful way to have it, but turn it on and off. You don't keep it on all the time.
I was terrified, and I won't, like, blow up their spot and give the details of exactly who they allow to see their location, but the list was mighty and terrifying to me as a person who still has a delusion of privacy in this world. Yeah,
that's a hard no for me. A big no. I'm also, I told you a little bit about this during our Sundance recap. Like, I can't stop thinking about Spree when I'm in an Uber.
Oh, yeah.
There's like a water bottle thing in that where, I mean, like, water bottle or anything that's offered to you in an Uber. Like, you've been in Ubers and Lyfts where they have snacks and mints and pieces of gum. And
so true.
Not that I think that Uber and Lyft and rideshare drivers are out to get me, but that movie, when you see certain things, it makes you think twice.
Absolutely.
Freaks me out a little.
I don't know. I wonder, like, how easy it is to reseal, like, one of these. Because if it's sealed and it's not easy...
I can give you the answer to that because it's in the movie. Yes, it's very easy. Right, I won't spoil it for everybody out there, but I will tell you the answer after this if you want to hear it. Okay. But it seems like a very doable thing to me.
I remember we were in New York and somebody was going to give my friends a bottle of wine, and all the guys were like, "Hell yeah!" and the women were like, "You're not drinking that." And they're like, "It's sealed, like a bottle of wine,
like a person on the street."
Yeah, and
well, I wonder if a bottle of wine, like, is it corked and sealed?
Here's the thing. It was sealed with wax.
No.
Exactly.
No.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm out.
Not happening.
I'm out. I like me some wine, but not wax-sealed wine. Yeah, that's not happening.
And it was funny because the one of the guys was like, he gave them an out. He was like, "Are you just giving this to us because you have to get to the airport?" And the guy goes, "Yeah." And I was like, You didn't challenge him at all. You told him the perfect excuse. No, don't drink that wine. I'm sure it could have just been a friendly wine.
It could have,
Or it could have been cult murder wine. And you never know until you drink it.
Yep. I've watched enough of that shit. I've watched enough of these movies to know. You know what else I forgot to tell you that I thought you would have found interesting? You know who Jeff and I sat next to on a bus in Sundance? The director of Cam.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we bumped into him like multiple times, and he was wonderful.
Very nice.
I want to see him make more movies.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think they've got...
Daniel Goldhaber?
Yeah. I think they've got stuff.
I hope so.
They've got an episode of that Quibi show coming up that Sam Raimi's producing where it's like a different episode
50 States
for
of Fright?
Every state.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they've got, I think, 2 features in development that are very hush-hush.
Okay. Well, let's will those features from development into green light territory.
Yes. And by they, I mean Daniel Goldhaber and Issa Mazet, who wrote Cam.
Okay. Yeah. Good. I want more people making horror movies that I like.
Always.
I asked that to somebody the other day, like what was the most surprising thing about working on a horror movie, and someone's like, I think it might have been Oliver Jackson Cohen, actually, he is an angel.
Aww.
I like him a lot. But I asked him about working with Flanagan and also Lee Winnell, and just, I used your shared trait idea, and he said that I'm pretty sure this came from him, but it's working with people who come up with such twisted shit, but they're so kind and lovely. And
it's very true.
I think it is very true.
Yeah.
I brought Erlinger to The Invisible Man the other day,
and
it made me happy.
But he's talk about a sweetheart with twisted ideas.
But seriously, like, he's the exact same as them, just like literally the nicest person I know, and he just comes up with the sickest shit.
I know. I do think it's true. I noticed it when I was young. The first time I went to a horror convention, I was like, why is everyone here so nice?
That's what I said to him. I'm like, you got to go to a horror film festival or a horror convention, and you're going to get a hefty dose of a whole bunch of Winnells and Flanagans.
That's true. That's true.
Have you noticed anything on the South by lineup that piqued your interest?
I mean, I haven't paid that much attention.
I've only loosely paid attention to it because it's not a total guarantee that I'm going, and I'm afraid if I pay too much attention to it, I will jinx it, but it feels like it's worth eyeballing at this point.
Yeah.
I know a couple of the this happens every year where Sundance movies wind up on that lineup, and Run Sweetheart Run is on it. It's not my favorite. Relic is on it, though, and I'm very excited to see Relic continue to make the rounds, because I do think that is one that deserves to get in front of more eyes. But there is one movie that I'm freaking the F out over.
Okay.
Do you know what it is?
No.
It is the new Elle Callahan movie. She is the one who directed Headcount.
Okay.
So I am pumped. This movie is called The Witch Hunt. I'll read the synopsis real quick. In a modern America where witches are real and witchcraft is illegal, a sheltered teenager must face her own demons and prejudices as she helps two young witches avoid law enforcement and cross the southern border to asylum in Mexico. Sign me up.
I think I've heard of this. What's it called again?
Witch Hunt.
Oh, duh. Doesn't it have a really good cast? Am I delusional?
I believe it does. That cast includes... Oh, it's the Gideon Adler movie.
There we go.
Yeah,
yep,
I'm very excited about more movies with her in it, but I think that would be my most anticipated of the entire festival if I do go. That and Bad Trip. I'm so excited for Bad Trip.
I'm very excited.
I love prank stuff. Like, I love, this sounds terrible, but I love, like, prank stuff, like Punk'd and all that kind of thing. And I also love, America's Funniest Home Videos type shit. So I feel like that is paving the way straight to Bad Trip for me.
I'm excited. I just love I love a good comedy. I feel like I don't know. I don't think I've seen a comedy this year yet that's had me going. So I'm hoping for that one.
I feel like there was something that I saw recently. I think
it's so early in the year, but
Palm Springs is a very effective comedy. I actually really like Downhill too, but I'm in the minority where I saw Downhill without having seen Force Majeure, and people keep telling me that might be why I like it a little more than most. But there are a couple of lines in Downhill that had me laughing pretty good.
There.
I feel like there was something else that I saw at Sundance that had me like laughing out loud.
Well, Sundance is different because you're saying like movies that are coming out.
I know what it was. There was one thing actually in the movie, The Photograph, that I thought was very funny. I'm not going to spoil the joke for you in case you see the movie, but there's one scene where Issa Rae and Lakeith Stanfield are having like a budding romance, and Lakeith Stanfield's brother in the movie is played by Lil Rel Howery, and he's got 2 kids, and there's this one point in the movie where Issa Rae is alone with the kids, and they just have the funniest back and forth, but there's one perfectly timed cut where it just like ups the comedic beat tenfold, and it was one of those moments where I was laughing 5 minutes after the joke happened.
Love that.
I was very impressed. And the thing is, the cool narrative for her in that movie is that after building a career in comedy and always using comedy as kind of like a backbone, this movie takes her out of that. But one of my favorite moments in it was a comedic beat. So I don't know.
She's very talented.
She really is.
She's so good. Do you watch Insecure? Cool.
No, I keep meaning to, because there are a lot of people in Insecure that I just really like.
It's just so good.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones that I don't know what I was watching that I was like watching, and then I just stuck around and Insecure was on next. And then I just got hooked.
More hours in the day.
Yeah.
I really do. It's like I'm on so little sleep and it still isn't enough.
Oh, you can't watch everything. You just have to make choices.
I know. Choices are hard, but hopefully the witching hour is helping you make choices.
With our indecisiveness.
Yeah, really.
Well, should we help them make some Valentine's Day choices?
Oh my God, I almost forgot about that. That's what this day is. Yes, we should. Who do you have something in mind?
So
okay.
Like, well, all right. So there's two ways you could go with this, right? Like horror movies that have good romance stories in them. Or like horny horror movies, like sexy horror movies, thirsty horror movies, depending on what kind of Valentine's Day you're having. I feel like the really obvious one, and probably it's recency bias, but like The Shape of Water is like a perfect romantic monster
super
movie.
Sweet,
yeah. But also, I would say The Fly has an amazing
love
story.
Yeah, The Fly is like the ultimate go-to in this department.
Yeah,
like
I
you
agree.
Can't. If you've never seen The Fly, now is the time to watch it more so than ever.
So
I mean, really, every day of the year is a good The Fly movie day,
true.
but now in particular.
And to be clear, no disrespect to the charmingly ridiculous original. We are talking about, of course, Cronenberg's version, which has just one of my favorite tragic love stories, not even just in horror.
The original freaks me out.
Really?
Yeah.
It's so goofy.
It's so goofy. There's something... like the ending.
Yeah.
It just like, I don't know. Like I saw it for the first time and it just got under my skin. I'll throw out a lesser known one. I think we've spoken about it. It's actually a movie that I saw at South by one of my first years. You know it's Nina Forever.
I know it is.
I don't know. It's just, I thought that was so well done. It was so well done. Like it's fun, it's crazy, it's a cool concept, the performances are great. I don't think it's streaming anywhere, but I know you could buy it on Amazon Prime or iTunes, but it's so well worth watching. It's about a guy and his girlfriend is Nina, and she dies in a car crash, and he starts a relationship with another woman, and every time they get intimate with each other, like Nina appears and like she gets in between them, and I don't know. I like what are those guys doing?
I have no idea.
They should be making more movies. I thought that was so well done.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be your go-to.
That's one that's really like stuck with me.
Most, not all, but most vampire movies will get you there. They're all usually
we're back in the horny department now.
Well, both.
Okay.
So like Only Lovers Left Alive is a beautiful romance.
Yeah.
What else? But yeah, there's a lot of horny ones. Like if you're leaning horny, Kiss of the Damned, I think is one of the horniest, best horny horror movies. It's like so sexy. My goodness. That's another person, Zan Cassavetes directed that, and she hasn't made anything since, and I think that's disgusting. It's not a perfect movie, but it has such an eye. Her eye for shots is really something, and it has such a command over like tension and eroticism and understanding that it's not about like being graphic. It's about like keeping people apart.
Yeah.
I can't believe she hasn't made another film, and that came out quite a while ago.
It did. Another good one is The Loved Ones, which I think is excellent.
That's quite something.
Yeah.
That's for like your unrequited Valentine's Day.
Yeah, like and what else would you expect from that director? You could have a double feature with The Loved Ones and The Devil's Candy, and it'll be a lot.
It'll be a rough day.
The Loved Ones is a great watch, though. That is a nasty movie.
Well, I feel like it's not the right holiday, but Midnight Kiss is a really good one.
Please watch Midnight Kiss.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's the New Year's Eve edition of Into the Dark on Hulu, and it was written by Erlinger. And if you haven't watched that episode that we did with him and the director, go scroll on back and Give it a watch.
Give it a little watch. I really enjoyed that one, and it sat really well with me after the fact.
Carter's a delight, too.
Yeah.
They're both wonderful. I mean, that's just like it adds another one to the super nice horror filmmaker pile.
Yeah. And that is it's, the theme is to New Year's Eve, but it's definitely about like broken hearts and romance. And
oh, absolutely.
very sexy.
Oh, very sexy.
So many butts.
There are butts all over the place.
So many butts.
I'm all for butts.
More butts than I saw in New Orleans.
Oh, really? That's a surprise, actually, because there are butts everywhere there.
Lots of butts.
Did you buy any witchy stuff while you were there?
I didn't. It's just so overpriced.
All right. I will go for a new question. Did you buy any hot sauce while you were there?
Yes.
Okay.
Of
all right.
course
As long
did.
as you did that.
Oh my gosh. Do I have my purse with me? I think I left it out there because I got these earrings. You're gonna die.
Oh,
over.
really?
Yeah.
Oh no. I can't wait to see.
They were
a
expensive.
reminder. I'm gonna see those earrings and I'm gonna watch that video.
Yeah, you are.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
They were expensive, but they were worth it. They're like really well made, and I'll wear them in an episode and be sure to highlight them.
I'm very excited. I'm going to get the preview today. I get the scoop.
You got the scoop. Advanced look. So a couple more that I think are like, if you are, this falls into horny and romantic and definitely not for anyone who doesn't have a strong stomach, is Trouble Every Day.
I've never seen it.
Woof. It's basically like a cannibalistic disease that makes people want to eat people when they get horny. And, it's quite something. It's Claire Denis.
Oh, boy.
It is notoriously savagely bloody.
All right.
That's a good one.
Oh, my God.
It's so rough.
Oh, my God. I'm just looking at freaking stills of the movie at this point.
It's so bloody.
This is...
Beatrice Dahl and Vincent Gallo. I love it, but it is, again, you do require a strong stomach.
It looks like a lot.
It's a very hard adult film.
Yep.
Not adult film as in pornography, but like not for your kids. Again, back to vampires. Bram Stoker's Dracula is really romantic.
Is there a puppy alert in this movie before I touch it?
Ooh, there might be. I don't remember.
No. All right.
There might be.
I might tap out.
I would have to
There's
think about that.
Very cute puppy in these pictures. That's not happening.
Yeah, and all right, am I forgetting? Oh, Bride of Chucky's a good one.
Bride of Chucky's a good one, yeah.
Just fun and
Honeymoon.
goofy.
There's another one. I
was thinking, like, is that
like that
a good one or a good anti-Valentine's Day movie?
That's a fair point. Probably goes in the anti pile.
I know, but they really do love each other, so I would put it in the Valentine's.
I guess so.
I would say like anti-Valentine's Day movie would be Revenge.
That's definitely an anti-Valentine's Day movie.
Audition.
I feel like there's something else recent that came out in addition to Revenge that we could put in that pile.
Oh, there's probably plenty.
Anti-Valentine's Day is definitely Midsommar.
Oh, yes.
It's incredible how I switch back and forth. Like Midsommar. You never know what you're going to get from me.
Same. I feel pretentious when I say Midsommar, and
so
then
do
I feel like I'm sort of betraying what he
If you only saw, like, the inner, like, turmoil that was going on in my head when I wanted to verbalize Midsommar to Florence Pugh. Just like, I didn't know what to say. And I'm sure I said some sort of like champagne-fueled gibberish at that point.
Sure she doesn't care at all.
I hope she doesn't, because I felt like an idiot.
Two more sweet ones that are kind of like sibling films. Tucker and Dale versus Evil has a nice little romantic subplot, as does, why did I just forget what it's called? Is it 100 Bloody Acres? It's an Australian movie that's also about like two backwoods brothers.
Never seen it, but I know what it is. While you look that up, I'll also throw in Warm Bodies if you're looking for something YA PG-13. Like, even if you are not a young adult, I think it's still well worth watching. It's a great time of a movie. Spring's good one.
A very good one. And on that note, I will say there's a new movie coming out tomorrow called After Midnight, produced by Justin and Aaron.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Directed by the fellow who did The Battery.
And
it's quite lovely little romance monster movie.
I'm into it. All right. There's a lot of suggestions.
Yeah,
you got some good stuff.
We did okay.
I'm like afraid to get off this topic without making sure I didn't miss anything that I'm going to be kicking myself for after.
I mean, we certainly will have.
Of course, of course.
Vampires, The Hunger is very romantic, sexy type situation. There's just probably quite a few.
Yeah, there are. But we'll leave it at that for now, because many more episodes to come.
The sex and the violence, they do tend to go hand in
hand.
Yeah.
Because like we all know what happens if you're not a virgin in our movies.
That's
so
right.
There you go.
The violence.
All right, guys. A very happy Valentine's Day to you. A very happy Valentine's Day weekend. A happy long weekend if you have Monday off.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy some movies, whether it's in home or on the big screen, and some TV for that matter, because we know there's some good stuff out there too. That's it. Where can everyone find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Haleigh Fouch and Instagram at Haystack McGroovy.
And I am at P. Nemiroff on Twitter and Instagram. So much horror loving happening here. So much more to come. But that's it for this episode. You have officially survived the witching hour.